Hello, today I'm going to talk about FTK Imager. The agenda for this video is we would start with what is FTK Imager, install FTK Imager, different menu options, open evidence, that is the physical drive and logical drive. I'll explain what physical drive and logical drive is when we get there. And last, image a drive. So start off with what is FTK Imager? It's a free forensic tool used for creating forensic images, previewing data, and hashing files. I mentioned previewing data and hashing files. I'll talk about these two probably in one of my later videos. Now, I said forensic image. What is a forensic image? Uh, since we have the term image in there, you're going to think, oh, is it a picture or a photo? But no, in digital forensics, a forensic image is a bit-for-bit copy of a storage drive. It includes all the data, including deleted files, slack space, and metadata, and it it's stored in the form of a file. Now, to start off with, uh, this is my website, forensicstools.com. I go to Forensic Tools, and within this, the first one is FTK Imager. So I click on download. It doesn't download directly. It actually takes you to the company which makes it. And when you click on it, download it, ask for your information, and then please give a valid email address, because what it does is it sends you a link to an email address where you have to go and download this particular exe. So now I already have FTK Imager installed. So let me open FTK Imager. And I'm going to run as administrator because it's going to create a lot of less issues for you. I'm going to close this boy. Okay, now it's made by a company called Access Data. I believe it's acquired by Get Data, if I'm not mistaken. I might be wrong. I apologize if I'm wrong. Okay, so when you open it, this is the screen that you see. Now you go to File. We have a bunch of options here. We have View, More, and Help. I've never looked at the user guide because I've not used every single feature, but I've used most of the features in this. Now to start off with, these options: add evidence item, add all attached devices. What it means is every single drive what I've connected to this computer will be attached. Image mounting, I'll probably talk about this in the next class. And one cool tool you have is capture memory. So what it does is when you click on it, it's going to ask you where you want to store your memory. That's all the data what's currently in your RAM and your page file or pagefile.sys. It's going to capture it and store it in memdump.mem. So once you capture it, you can use a tool to analyze it to see what kind of data is in your RAM. Now, one of the questions you would ask is, hey, as an investigator, why would I need to capture RAM? For example, if you have a computer which is BitLocker encrypted and it's powered on and the BitLocker drive is already unlocked, typically that code or the unlock key would be stored in your RAM. So when you capture it, it's very likely that you're going to get the code or the password to unlock the BitLocker drive. Now, a caution. So when I create this memory dump, it's going to slow down the computer because it's going to run on this computer and it's actually going to grab all the RAM what's on this computer. So I'm not going to do that here. My computer is not that fast, so I don't want to mess up this video. Okay, so starting off with, let me start again. Okay, click on the first plus item. It says add evidence item. Now here you see 4 options, right? Physical drive, logical drive, image file, and contents of a folder. Now physical drive, to give an analogy, it's a drive which you can actually touch and feel. For example, a USB or flash drive is a physical drive which you can hold it. A logical drive would be say you have a hard drive. Within a hard drive, the hard drive itself is a physical drive. Now, when you format your hard drive, when you're setting up your computer, say your hard drive is 1 terabytes, what you do is you create two drive, that is C drive and D drive. Now each drive is a logical drive. For example, let me show you this. I clicked on logical drive. Next. Now this is my C drive. However, I only have one logical drive within my hard drive and one logical drive within my USB drive. Now if I click on this, you see, let me not do that. Let me do shift. So it shows you my D drive, and it will show you all the files what are there, just like how you would go to a computer. You click on PC, shift. So it shows you the view what you see here. Now let's see, now to delete this drive, all I have to do is click on the red icon, remove evidence item, and boom, it's gone. Now, typically, if you want to copy bit by bit of a drive, you would use physical drive. Now, when I click on physical drive, depending on the number of drives or number of hard drives I have, number of physical thumb drives are connected, or the flash drives I have connected to this computer, it could slow down. Now I click on, it could be slow, sorry. Now here you see, it shows me two drives, right? Physical drive 0 typically is the drive on which your operating system is residing. Now in this case, I have a Samsung drive. I only have one logical drive within this. It doesn't show me at this point. And I have a thumb drive connected, a 250 gigs thumb drive connected. Now in this case, I want to, let me start off with this one. Click on finish. And this shows me the physical drive 0. And if I come down, it shows me the source path, what type. In this case, it's a physical disk. And this gives me all the disk or the drive geometry. That gives the tracks, sectors, bytes per sector, count. Also, it gives me the drive model. And some information which might be useful for us, some probably not. And let's scroll this up. Okay. Now, within this drive, actually when I go to my computer and see, we only see one partition, that is this one, because this is where my operating system is residing. However, when you typically install Windows, it creates a bunch of partitions which you don't see. Now, usually when now we are making an image file out of this, if I click on this, let me stop right there. Let me go to something else before I go to that topic. Okay, now let me click on Microsoft Wizard partition. Sorry, basic data partition. So right now it's reading the MFT or the master file table to get all the files that are on this computer. Now, often it's not of much use for us here, at least in this class. Okay, we're waiting. Okay, for some reason it is slow. Like I mentioned, my computer is kind of slow, so let me see if it's, okay, if it's not opening, so I'm just going to close it right now. Okay, so go back to FTK Imager. Sorry about that, folks. Okay, so now I'm going to go add another physical drive. Instead of this, I'm going to add a USB flash drive. So this is just an external storage drive that I have. So it gives me the format what the file system what's on it. In this case, it's exFAT file system. Click on this, root. Okay, I'm glad this is fast. Now we see what is unallocated space. So unallocated space on the storage device is the portion of the drive that hasn't been assigned to a partition. What it means is it is unused space where data cannot be written until it's allocated to a partition. Think of it as a empty land on a map which is not yet claimed for a specific purpose. For example, when a storage device is partitioned, the space is divided into sections. Each partition, you cannot actually store data in there until you have its own file system. Once you have a file system that is either exFAT or NTFS, that would allow the operating system to manage data storage. So unallocated space is the area that hasn't been assigned to any of these partitions. Because it's not part of a partition, the operating system cannot directly store files or data in this unallocated space. Now let's go back. So this is my main folder. Say now I go back to my computer, this PC, go to SIFT. This is a drive. These are my two hidden files. This is the folder what I see. So now I go back. I click on this folder, SIFT. So it shows me all these folders along with the file slack, which I'll probably come or address it in one of my later videos. For now, let's stick to the basics. Now, my next option, next what I have to do is, now once I have this drive, I need to create a forensic image of this drive. So how do I do that? One thing I want to mention here is now when I click on this, so say I click on the physical drive, if you see, I didn't talk about this window. If you see this window, it shows you all the bits, that is all the zeros and ones from location zeros to all the way to the very end. If you see, I have a lot of space left. This flash drive is not completely full. You see, all the zeros mean there's no data on there right now. I can actually fill in with a lot more data. So here it is. Now I click on this physical drive, right click. So here, what I do is export disk image. So what it does, so this is the source, that is, this is the physical drive, what I'm trying to copy. That is my thumb drive. Now, next option, I click on add. So there are different options what you can use. That is your destination file, what is being created, in what's the format it's going to be. Typically, you use a format called EO1 or evidence file format. It is, I think it's a company called NCase which actually coined this specific format. I might be wrong. So EO1, I click on next. Here I can give, if I'm working on a specific case, in this case, I'm just going to give no case, evidence number 00, sorry, evidence number 111, unique description is Samsung thumb drive, serial number 007. Examiner, header, notes, NA. Okay, click on next. So this destination folder is the location where this image file is going to be saved at. Now in this case, I'm going to put it on my desktop. So the file name is going to be thumb drive evidence. Okay. And one thing I forgot to mention. Okay, click on finish. And you see this option verify images after they are created. I'm going to talk about this in the next class. So I click. So what add overflow location means? It is if, say you have a 1 TB drive and you're copying, and what's going to happen is you're going to run out of space. So in that case, you can give an overflow location where you can add another drive where the rest of the files could be stored. For example, I'll talk about that in my next video. So now click on start. Okay. So now it's going to take a while depending on how big the drive is. This is a 250 gig drive, so I would assume it's probably going to take at least an hour. So that's it for this class. Next class, what we would do is we would load this video. I would talk about hashes, and I would, sorry, not load the video, load the image file what we created here. I would also talk about the hashes or file verification or image file verification, and so on. Thank you for your time, and thank you for watching this video.